The wait's finally over. We've been sitting here waiting for this thing since March, really early March. I remember going on a trip to Disneyland, and I thought I'm gonna have to go live at the park, right next to Mickey, in March. Finally, we have an answer. Finally, and we knew this was gonna happen. The writing was all over this thing from far away, telegraphed from far away. Aaron Rodgers is officially going to sign a 1-year, what sounds like $20 million deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he will be throwing footballs to DK Metcalf. Great news overall. Pittsburgh has a nice young quarterback in Will Howard who's not ready for prime time. Aaron Rodgers looked pretty good last year at times, even though things didn't jive in New York. But we have DK Metcalf now, ready to catch a football from Aaron Rodgers. Here, DK, catch this big tree trunk of a player just standing over everybody, willing to play catch with Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh as the sole provider in the wide receiver room. So DK should go up in value. Aaron Rodgers shouldn't be owned in any sort of, one QB league, but in Superflex, especially leagues where we've been drafting in anticipation of getting Aaron Rodgers. People are kind of scared away from drafting him in Superflex best ball drafts on Underdog, promo code Smitty. And we've been scooping up Aaron Rodgers late, kind of in hopes that he could be a very cheap, viable Superflex option. His value is going to go up. Not saying, to the moon necessarily, but just in general, because people are scared to draft him. We got a lot to talk about here. The Fantasy Football Show. Breaking news. Aaron Rodgers finally heading to Pittsburgh to sign his 1-year deal. That show begins right now. File on in.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
Finally, feels like, I don't know. This feels like a long process. I mean, I got to admit, I feel a little bit more relaxed today than I did yesterday. I feel like a lot has been taken off my shoulders and I have nothing to do with this. This has been a long wait. And Aaron Rodgers going to Pittsburgh was inevitable, like we said on the channel for months and months and months. Was there a chance maybe he changes his mind or Pittsburgh grows tired? Maybe, but it sounds like Tomlin and the boys knew a lot more than we figured they did, than a lot of people thought, and that they were letting on. It sounds like Tomlin and Aaron Rodgers probably had a very, very good understanding that this was just on Aaron Rodgers' timeline about not doing anything until June. We knew that Aaron Rodgers would show up around June 1, or that this conversation would be had. We called this from the start after the long awaited signing. That part I was wrong on, because I thought he was going to sign in March at first. But once this thing started to creep out into the NFL draft, we knew that June was going to be the day. He was either going to announce that he's not coming back, or it was going to be really, really early June, because who's missing June in playing quarterback in the NFL? Not this guy. This guy's flying to Pittsburgh, gonna sign his 1-year deal. Sounds like $20 million. DK Metcalf goes
stock on the rise.
DK Metcalf becomes a very viable, dare I say, low-end wide receiver 1. I don't think that's out of the question for DK Metcalf. Where's my DK Metcalf graphic? When I need it, DK looking like a pretty spicy low-end wide receiver 1 that you have been able to draft around the high-end wide receiver 2 range. So DK Metcalf, I don't know, where's his ADP? It definitely on the rise, but how far does it climb up? Does it climb into the low-end wide receiver 1 territory? And if it does, that's going to definitely move someone down. Maybe Rashee Rice gets another spot bump down. Maybe Rice flies above DK still. Maybe a JSN DK Metcalf swap happens. Maybe we have Hendy and Harvey and the quarterbacks like JD5, all those guys get bumped down a spot. Like, understand there's an impact to the ADP data when a player like DK rises up or lowers down. So kind of intriguing. I think DK is a fantastic low-end wide receiver 1, meaning top 12, 13, 14 wide receiver. When you're playing that, I'm going to draft heavy RB, maybe early tight end game, and swing around and get a DK and Debo. There's nothing wrong with a DK and Debo Samuel as your wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2 in a heavy RB build, a robust RB build, with even a quarterback in the middle of all of that. So if you go, let's say, Bijan and Bucky, or Gibbs and Bucky, and you go JD5 in round 3, and then you go DK. Now, DK might not last that long anymore. We don't even know if DK climbs into round 3. He might climb into round 3. If he does, I don't know that I like him a lot better than other players there. I'm not going to lie. I might like him around that value of like late third round territory. But all I know is I scooped up DK when he didn't cost that. And if I have to now say I tap out, I'm going to go ahead and step aside and let other people draft DK Metcalf now. I'm fine with that too, because we definitely got our shares of DK Metcalf at a very reasonable price. I think this is good. I don't think DK Metcalf had better value with Will Howard. That's why his ADP was not as high and people were not reactive to the Aaron Rodgers rumors. They wanted to be reactive to the Aaron Rodgers final truth and announcement. They needed to see it. People needed to see DK Metcalf's value couldn't be cemented into the territory that it now probably resides without an official statement. So this is good news. Vanilla offense, sure. DK Metcalf with Pickens would have been a problem because how do you feed both of them? DK Metcalf alone, the only show in town with Pickens now in Dallas, which is great for Pickens. Pickens' value went up. Pickens' value went up from that situation. And DK Metcalf's value went up by going from Seattle, in my opinion, where it was crowded and JSN's the main dog, the main event there. DK Metcalf went up as soon as he went to Pittsburgh, but then he flatlined because he had no quarterback. Well, now he does have a quarterback, and now if I had to guess and crank out a DK Metcalf projection, I'm probably going to say DK probably drops I would say, I don't know, a 75 to 82 reception type of season. I don't know that he's catching 100 balls. He's probably not going to happen. And then, I don't know, 1,100 yards. I'm not saying that that's, knocking anybody's socks off, but then where I think he can make up for it is, let's say he gets 11 TDs. Maybe it's 8 to 10. I don't know. I don't think this is a bad, let's call it 8 to 11 TDs. Kind of a wide range because he could get 8. It wouldn't surprise me if he just got 8 touchdowns. Wouldn't surprise me if he didn't crack even 80 receptions. But he could get 1,100 yards. And if it wasn't like 1,100, a 10, 50, I mean, that's kind of like a floor for me. And that's borderline wide receiver 1, probably more high-end wide receiver 2. But if you're going low-end wide receiver 1 shopping and this is what you land on, that could be worse. It could be much worse than DK Metcalf if you go robust RB, even throw an early quarterback or early tight end if it was George Kittle or whatever, and then you decided to go wide receiver shopping. This could be okay. This might not be the end of the world for you. DK Metcalf, lots of shares in underdog for me at this discounted price that we will no longer see. So good news all around for Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf, Pittsburgh Steelers fans. You're far better off with Aaron Rodgers, at least as an option than you were not. I'm not saying that it works out beautifully and that he starts all year, but this team probably, in Aaron Rodgers' mind at least, makes the playoffs like it always does. And now he gets to be maybe the difference maker. I'm not saying he will be, but in his mind, I get to be the difference maker. Instead of losing in round 1, we can start marching through the playoffs. That's what Aaron Rodgers is thinking. But it's good news all around.
Mashed potatoes!
Yeah, buddy.
Good news all around, especially for DK Metcalf. Phone lines are open. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Good news all around. Let's test the phone lines, make sure we got audio.
No, you're right, Smitty. Birdie sucks.
Yep, the voicemail plays, our traditional Denny voicemail to test the audio and the phone lines. Dial in. I'm very intrigued and interested to hear what you guys think of this situation. Kirk Cousins no longer on the table for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Not that he really was, but it could have been something that we heard about if, let's say, Aaron Rodgers, didn't come back and play football. So New Orleans Saints don't necessarily want anything to do with Kirk Cousins, especially via trade. They're in a rebuild mode. The last thing they want to do is commit a bunch of money to a quarterback unless he was cut. And the Falcons are going to be wavering on whether they want to cut him, and they probably don't, maybe next offseason, but they'd rather just retain him as a backup. The money's already paid. So Kirk Cousins can't really be cut unless you have a sense that this overshadowing, which Kirk Cousins' shadow doesn't cast over Penix. Penix Jr.'s shadow casts over Kirk Cousins. Penix Jr.'s shadow is the one who knocks. Okay? So we know that. We know that. And we also know that Bruce is on the phone. Bruce, you're live.
Hey, Smitty.
What up?
I got to say, I'm really excited for DK now. Now, I was watching. Does DK now make it into your top 10?
No, he can't make it into my top 10 because the top 10 is just loaded. But he's a quiet, hovering, tier group of players that makes him low-end wide receiver 1 capable. But I don't think he cracks my top 10. Let me take a look at my top 10 and define my top 10. I'm going to go over to my thefantasyfootballshow.com. Now, I could spitball it right now on the marker board, and my top 10 is going to be volatile. I don't stick to, according to my top 10 rankings that are sitting here for months, like I'm going to have to re-look at some things. I will probably have to reshape some things and re-rank everything. But right now, roughly speaking, on my redraft 2025 thefantasyfootballshow.com rankings, DK is floating around. I think he was kind of floating. Like, here's the thing, bro. You got Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, JJ Neighbors, and BTJ, Puka Nacua, Nico Collins, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Drake London, AJ Brown, Garrett Wilson, Travis Hunter, MHJ, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Lad McConkey, Rashee Rice, and Higgins. That's wide receiver 17. You get to McLaurin and Worthy and Mike Evans and Devontae Smith, and then you start saying, okay, maybe DK's right around there. So I don't even know how much he rises already from my rankings, which already had him kind of packaged into this value. I'm kind of seeing the tea leaves with this situation at the end of the day. Did I predict the March signing correctly? No. But after that passed, we kind of knew, the thing is he's waiting till June. So we have called that after the fact. But it's like, DK, I've already been expecting DK to get Aaron Rodgers. But I just read off about 16, 17 wide receivers that you'd probably much rather have. Rashee Rice being one of them. Obviously the Lad McConkeys of the world, the players like that you have to have higher. And then I read off MHJ, Higgins, Worthy. You could debate DK and Worthy if you wanted. I'm not saying I would. I'm just saying I understand it. You could debate Evans if you wanted to say Evans drops off. But that's at least 15 plus wide receivers ahead of DK Metcalf. So he can't be top 10. There's no way you can rank him top 10. Could he surprise and produce top 10 because they're all so damn close right there? It's possible, but he'd have to have like 13, 14, 15 touchdowns.
Okay. And now that Aaron Rodgers is there, I didn't get to watch it, but I heard a little bit of it. What do you think this does for Kirk Cousins? Because now Pittsburgh isn't an option. Is there any other option?
I mean, I just said that, Bruce. I'd probably say nowhere. He's a Atlanta Falcon backup quarterback right now, and they're not going to cut him because of what I just said before you got on, that they've already paid him. So Kirk Cousins doesn't have a place to go. Saints aren't going to be interested. They're in rebuild mode. They're not going to take on a player that has a contract like his. They would take him if he was free, if he got released, but the Falcons probably won't release him because the money's pretty much already paid. It's guaranteed. So they're just going to keep Kirk Cousins and probably cut him next offseason and have a secure backup that knows the system. And he's going to cause no overshadowing situation in Atlanta. Penix is the one who knocks, not Kirk Cousins. So no one's worried about that. So He's Cousins is probably going to be an Atlanta Falcon. Anything can happen, Bruce. Injury could happen. Maybe a team we're not really kicking around as QB needy might make the call. You have AR5, who now has the shoulder injury. Maybe something like that develops in Indy, but right now there's nothing. There's no room or home for Kirk Cousins.
Okay. And do you think this? What do you think on the run game, the running backs? What do you think Rodgers does for them?
I think that this is a very overrated, I think, running back situation because of the split and workload divide. Jaylen Warren was told, we believe in you to be our starter. Then they draft Caleb Johnson. There is a world where Caleb Johnson's too good to keep off the field, and he eventually takes over. There's also a world where people think Caleb Johnson's going to do a lot. Remember Blake Corum? People thought Blake Corum was really going to take work and get carries over Kyron Williams. He's a non-factor. He was a non-factor. We said he would be. I'm not saying Caleb Johnson's going to be a non-factor. Don't twist what I'm saying. But I'm telling you, there's a world where Jaylen Warren does a whole lot more early on than people think. And they're like, wait, where's Caleb Johnson? Why aren't they using him in week 1? What's going on? And there's a world where Caleb Johnson is so impressive and Jaylen Warren gets hurt that he takes over. But you're going to need an injury or an overwhelming play in production from Caleb Johnson to put Jaylen Warren on the pine. Jaylen Warren's versed in this offense. He catches the ball really well. I think Aaron Rodgers doesn't exactly love rookies all the time. So Jaylen Warren's probably going to tickle Rodgers' fancy just a little bit more. Rodgers probably is going to have 2 running backs. And I think Caleb Johnson will be very one-dimensional until something happens to change that. And I don't think it'll be Warren not producing. Warren has always produced. You know, he looks really good. So this is a running back situation that is very vanilla, and I'm staying away from it for the most part unless Caleb Johnson is just free and he's sitting there, you know, deep in a draft. But I don't love this situation. Too many people are way too high on Caleb Johnson. He's got upside as a stash, but sometimes he goes a lot higher than that. So you just got to be careful where you draft him. BBQ in the building. BBQ, I don't know if you heard me say thank you yesterday for the gifted memberships. I think you were gone. But I didn't exactly celebrate it when it came in. I said BBQ in the middle of a debate or something. But then when I came around and said BBQ to the moon, you were gone. So BBQ, thank you for dropping those gifted memberships yesterday. Aaron Rodgers signs with the Pittsburgh Steelers later today, or I think he's flying out. And it's going to be a 1-year, roughly $20 million deal, according to the reports. Sorry, go ahead, Bruce. And in the phone lines are open if anybody wants to dial in. Bruce, hold on. Let me hit the phone line number.
Call into the show.
Dial in. Everybody drop that BBQ emoji. BBQ's always dropping mother freaking gifted memberships in this mug. And let me celebrate yesterday's drop.
$50. Give me $50, holla.
BBQ.
Like that by the river, Smitty.
BBQ, appreciate you.
To Mars.
To Mars goes BBQ. All right, Bruce, what else you got?
Since we're talking about the Steelers, what about Freiermuth? Do you think he's on the rise?
Freiermuth. Fire him.
I don't know how to say.
Fire him. I mean, look, they were looking for another tight end. They wanted to maybe trade for Jonnu Smith. Didn't work. Then they picked up the phone and said, "Are you sure?" And they want to trade for Jonnu Smith again. Kyle Pitts is on the move, potentially. Adam Schefter, we'll talk about this at 8 p.m. Adam Schefter reportedly said that the Steelers can be coerced into maybe getting rid of Kyle Pitts. So maybe the Steelers call. We'll talk about this at 8 p.m. too. McLaurin's not happy about his contract, might not show up. McLaurin's in holdout mode. Will turn into hold-in mode because no one likes to get fined anymore. But he'll hold in or hold out, both of them, until he maybe gets his new deal. And there's going to be a lot of rumors about Pittsburgh trading for McLaurin. But let me just tell you this. I don't think there's any sort of wide receiver trade for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think if the Pittsburgh Steelers wanted 2 big-name wide receivers, they would have just kept George Pickens and signed him to a deal or just kept him. I don't think they're in the mood of going and getting another wide receiver. Okay, he's going to be screaming and yelling while he's waiting on the phone line. He's not going to be on the phone line. Hey! Hey! I hear you talking, Smitty, but I'm just going to yell, hey! In the background. Hey! On the phone line. So, yeah, we've got, to look into what the Pittsburgh Steelers might be willing to do to get Aaron Rodgers some more weapons. Hey! But Freiermuth sounds like they're worried about him. It sounds like they're worried about him. I'm not investing in Freiermuth. I'm not investing in Freiermuth. I'm not doing it. Hey!
Okay. Yeah, I was just worried, wondering about all these new weapons that Aaron Rodgers got. Even though, like in New York, he had Wilson and he had Hall, and he made him great. I was just wondering.
I'm not saying I wouldn't draft Freiermuth in the right spot, but I have a feeling his ADP is going to go up, and I don't know. Why are they looking for another tight end so badly? Why are they looking at Jonnu Smith twice? Why are they calling and picking up the phone and going, is Jonnu available? What is going on with Freiermuth that they don't like? I just don't trust that situation right now. Not when there's so many other, players that you could go get. Someone said Tucker Kraft. Absolutely. I'd rather Tucker Kraft over Freiermuth in a heartbeat. Freiermuth, as Bruce said.
That's right.
All right, Bruce, anything else?
No, because I think everything. I think I did put it in the Instagram chat. Me and my mom got a trade offer from that guy.
What's the trade offer, Bruce? Break it down.
All right, so we're giving up Barkley. So we played this guy in the championship, so he's in like a win now mood like us. But we're gonna give up Barkley. We're gonna get Sharps, Harvey, Keon Coleman, and 2 second-round picks.
So
and
Sharps,
getting rid of Barkley.
Okay, Sharps, Harvey, and what? 2 seconds?
Keon Coleman. Yeah, and Keon Coleman.
And 2 seconds?
And 2 seconds.
Seconds times 2. And then you're also getting Keon Coleman. That's pretty good. That's a pretty damn good trade. I like that. Because you're getting a player that honestly... Huh? Bro, what? Hey, let me tell you something. Why do you think you're going to get on the phone line? Why do you think you're ever going to get on the phone line again now? How fun was that for you? Good job. Excellent job. Harvey Barkley. This is great, bro. This is great. I would take Harvey by himself for Barkley in a dynasty league. So you're getting Charbonnet, you're getting seconds, you're getting Coleman. I like this. I like this, bro.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Okay, so we'll ship the Barkley away.
All right, man. All right, appreciate you,
All
Bruce.
right.
Call in anytime. All right. Let's see here. Hit me with whatever else you guys got. Phone lines open. Do it live. As far as like my reaction to this, again, if anybody missed it and is just coming in here, look, Aaron Rodgers is not some knight in shining armor, but he is 10 times what the Steelers have been dealing with lately. He is going to be able to walk them into the playoffs probably a little more easily than another quarterback, but will he actually do it? Here's the problem is we did the let me see if I can find the button. I know I did I'm pretty sure I did. I made these predictions already. Where is that? Where is it? I think I have the North somewhere. Let me see. Where's my North? AFC North. Let me go to the AFC, see if I have them anywhere. AFC North. There it is. Okay. So here's the problem. Aaron Rodgers, let me rephrase what I just said again, or say it again, because I don't know if you heard how carefully I worded that. Aaron Rodgers is more likely to walk the Steelers into the playoffs this year than another quarterback, but I don't think the Steelers make the playoffs this year. I think, unfortunately, this is a bad ending to Rodgers' career. I don't think they make the playoffs. I think things go awry. Aaron Rodgers he's good for DK Metcalf, but this is going to be a really, really competitive conference, let alone division. The Bengals are going to win the division. If the Bengals don't win the division, the Ravens will win the division. I think the Ravens struggle with something this year, whether it's a injury to Lamar, an injury to Derrick Henry, or a drop-off for Derrick Henry. There's some sort of struggle that still allows them to make the playoffs. I'm not saying they won't. They're going to be one game back from the Bengals, or 2 games back, but they're going to be far above Pittsburgh and Cleveland. So for me, I don't think the Steelers can win enough games to make the playoffs in one of the most brutal conferences I think that we've seen in a while collectively. Like, take a look at, we'll go around. This is the North right here. So the Bengals, only 3 teams make the playoffs from the wild card race, right? So you have the Bengals winning the division. If they don't, the Ravens will win. The Steelers are not winning the division. So they have to make one of the 3 wild card spots. You head over to the East, and you've got the Buffalo Bills. I don't think the Patriots or the Dolphins make the playoffs either, but the Jets are going to be a strong bet. Fields is going to make Tomlin pay. Fields is Tomlin's daddy. And now Tomlin's going to watch this man finally get a defense, has a run game, has his former college wide receiver Garrett Wilson. The rapport is there. Fields is going to make the playoffs and grab one of the wild card spots. Steelers already lost 1 wild card spot there. Now the Steelers are fighting for one of the other final 2 wild card spots, right? Maybe the Jets get beat out. Let's keep going. Maybe the Jets don't even make the playoffs. So if we go over to the AFC West, we've got the Chiefs or the Broncos winning the division. You could say the Chargers might give it a run. This is where the problem is. This is where the problem is. I don't know that this is possible. I don't even know that the Jets can make the playoffs. This is where it gets complicated. The Ravens grab a wild card spot. I'm sorry, they've got the 1 spot. I'm sorry. The Jets would have grabbed the 2nd. The Ravens have the 1 and 1st top wild card spot, or the Bengals if you think the Ravens are going to win. So you go back over here. All of a sudden, the Jets are now in jeopardy. Okay, let's say the Jets get the 2nd one. Okay, so now 2 of the 3 wild card spots are taken. The Bills win the division. The Bengals win the division. And the Ravens and Jets currently have the wild card spot. So let's head over to the West. Now we look at this. Broncos are taking the 3rd spot, really the 2nd spot. So the Jets are hanging on to the only and final wild card spot. Do the Chargers take it from the Jets? I have them both winning 10 wins. Do the Raiders take it from the Jets? I have them both winning 10 wins. And this is a little bit tough to predict if this is even likely, the chances of 2-10 wins, but this is the way that I am envisioning the battle. Okay, so you have Chargers, Raiders, Jets, and Steelers fighting for that last and final wild card spot, because the Broncos and the mother freaking Ravens already have 2 of the 3. So then you head over to the South and you say Jaguars. We haven't done this one yet. Jaguars might be in the mix. Texans are going to probably maybe win the division. A lot of people think. I think the Jaguars are going to win the division. So to me, Jaguars win the division. Texans, and I haven't done this one yet, so that's why nothing's out of order yet. Jaguars win the division, in my opinion. Texans are fighting for that wild card spot. So the wild card spot does come down, in my opinion, to the Texans at the bottom, fighting, the least likely to get it. The Jets are the next up from there. And then who do we say? It was the Jets and the Chargers and the Raiders. So for me, Jets, Chargers, Raiders are fighting for the final wild card spot. The Broncos or the Chiefs, if the Broncos won the division, Broncos or the Chiefs, Bengals or the Ravens are grabbing the other 2 spots. It's near impossible for the Steelers to make the playoffs. They're not going to make the play. I'm sorry. The Steelers are not going to make the playoffs. The Steelers will not make the playoffs.
You've just been Smitty disapproved.
Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Jets could. The Jets definitely could. These are the division predictions again. There you go. Those are the division predictions again. So we'll do this one next. We still haven't we've done some of the NFC We did the NFC West. We did the NFC South. We did the NFC East. So we still have to do the North in the NFC. We still have to do the South in the AFC. 2 more division breakdowns. And these might change a little bit, but that's the way that it looks. And the NFC is tough too, because you got, Cowboys. You got a lot of people vying for those 3 wild card spots. We'll have to do a refresh breakdown of the predictions and picks and all that. So anyway, phone lines open. Dial in. We'll take one or two more phone calls before we get out of here, and we'll be back. Don't worry.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Cowboys 10-7. I mean, that's not crazy. 10-7. Cowboys could easily be 10-7. I don't know if you're saying you don't like that. Anyway, DK Metcalf. The Cowboys could be they could have 11 wins. They could easily have 11 wins. DK Metcalf. Stock goes up, but I already kind of had him
on the rise.
Already kind of had him at the spot, assuming that Aaron Rodgers would be there. So I don't know that I'll draft him much more if his ADP climbs like a round. Right now on Underdog, I believe he's going on Underdog, promo code Smitty. I think he's going around, let's see here. Let me see if I can find his ADP real quickly. Underdog, promo code Smitty. You guys want to draft with us tonight at midnight Eastern? We draft pretty much every night at midnight Eastern. Click this link right here. Underdog will match your first deposit 50% all the way up to $1,000. You drop a 1,000, they'll give you 500. You drop 2,000, they'll give you 1,000. But the minimum is only $10. So if you do a $10 first time deposit, they'll give you $5. You do a $20 first time deposit, they'll give you 10, and then you'll have 30 to play with. DK Metcalf's ADP is pretty reasonable right now. It is 49 overall. That is above Flowers, Pickens. I like Pickens about as much. Adunze Jennings, Juwan Jennings is pretty decent there. Deebo Samuel down at 68. I think Deebo's the most underrated player in the wide receiver category here. Oh my God. We got to do a video on that. Deebo. Maybe that's the video I do next. And then we talk about maybe the doubted wide receiver upload. It'll be a video I upload to the channel potentially. And then we go live at 8 p.m. tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. And then we go live at midnight Eastern. So you have 2 more guaranteed shows tonight. The 8 p.m. show, the midnight Eastern show, and probably another video or live stream before 8 p.m. That's how we roll on this channel. So if you're new, subscribe. You're never going to miss content again. We go live when news breaks. This news broke, we went live. We're pretty much live faster than anybody in the business. So DK Metcalf, you look at DK Metcalf's ADP and you say, well, who above him is he going to climb up and overtake? I would say, let's see, DK Metcalf, where's he at? I got to find him again. 48, right? 48, I said, somewhere around there. So you have Cortland Sutton above him, Jamo Williams, Devontae Smith, Travis Hunter. DK Metcalf is going to climb above Travis Hunter. And that's going to be great for us because we're going to get Travis Hunter another spot or 2 lower.
Let's go! Mashed potatoes!
Yeah, buddy. That's my prediction. You know what? And the other thing, too, you got to think about with these types of ADP moves is, let's say on ADP rankings, somebody's going at 48 overall, or actually let's call this 41, 45, 48, okay? So DK's going right here, and Travis Hunter's going like right here. So the thing about it, and you got an RB, wide receiver, RB, QB, and a wide receiver, RB. So like this is how ADP looks, right? When DK Metcalf moves up a wide receiver spot to Hunter, let's say, and Hunter moves down, Hunter drops more than 1 spot. It's almost as if there's only room for so much wide receiver action at a certain ADP. So these 2 running backs that are probably sitting in between, Hunter drops 3 total ADP spots by dropping 1 wide receiver spot. So a move like this, if Hunter is the wide receiver that DK overtakes, or one of the 2, or one of the three, who knows how many spots DK climbs, then these players that he overtakes could move down multiple spots. So if this move does overtake Hunter, Hunter drops not one wide receiver spot, he drops multiple overall ADP spots, and then we cook.
Let him cook.
Unbelievable. Okay, we got 2 super chats here. I'm sorry, I answer these in order in which they're received. I'm sorry about the delay here. Kyle says, Heath Cummings told me to tell you Travis Hunter's a wide receiver 1. Okay. Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate you. I tell people what Travis Hunter is. Travis Hunter's a wide receiver 1 right now. Right now. I think a lot of people tell me that Travis Hunter's a wide receiver 1 in the future. I like to say he's a wide receiver 1 right now. He's a wide receiver 1 right now. You wait. Just wait. Everybody could just wait. All you careful Calebs out there that think he needs another year before he's going to be a wide receiver 1, you just wait. Malcolm, Aaron, what is going on with Terry McLaurin? We'll talk about it more at the 8 p.m. show. He's disgruntled. He wants a new deal. So he's essentially going to hold out, and then that'll turn into a hold in. But he wants a new deal. That's as simple as it is. What's the prediction? I don't think he misses time. He's too old to do that. He can't do that. But the longer he holds out, the more injury risk is there. Deebo Samuel is going to, be, I think, a beast. We're going to talk about Deebo Samuel. Hopefully Deebo's ADP doesn't climb a ton because of McLaurin's threat of holdout. But we're going to have probably a Deebo Samuel video between now and the 8 p.m. show. So we got a little time to get that cooking. So Deebo Samuel season in full effect. Appreciate all my YouTubers out there. I got 217 of you watching right now from YouTube. Subscribe if you're new. Hit the like button. We only have 55 thumbs up. What are we doing? Those are rookie numbers. 55 thumbs up. We got 220 of you YouTube watching people in the stream. And then I've got some people on X because I went live on X. But my X people need to go over to YouTube and subscribe and watch from that platform because it's much more interactive. It's where we're at. And we're not live even half the time on X. I just go live once in a while to remind people, what are you doing? Get on over to the channel. We're live whenever news breaks. Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf, we covered it all. Appreciate my super chats. Any other super chats, drop them before we close the doors here, and I can answer them for you. But we'll be back for a Deebo Samuel video, a wide receiver video before the 8 p.m. show. Live Monday through Friday. Whenever news breaks, I'm live as well. So live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Live whenever news breaks. And additionally live at midnight Eastern. And additionally uploading videos or going live with additional videos like we will on Deebo Samuel and wide receivers and all of the DK Metcalf potential impact. All of that wide receiver episode dropping here before the 8 p.m. show. Whether it's an upload or live stream, I don't know. See how we're feeling. Gonna get a little food. I haven't eaten yet. Maybe tacos. Yeah, we'll do some tacos. I'll have it on my Instagram. I put my food on the Instagram for those that are interested. See you all later. Live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Live whenever big news breaks. Live midnights Eastern. Deuce.